Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for the Paige Evans design team, and I was in the mood to create something summery and bright for this page. And so I began with this cut file. This is the Sunburst Rays background 8.5 by 11 cut file designed by Paige, available in the Silhouette store, and I cut it 3 times. I cut it in 3 different shades of yellow so I could kind of off-center it and overlap it and get some shading in different colors and different patterns. And so I used Pick Me Up paper number 1, that's the hexagon paper right on top, and then the other 2 papers are from Oh My Heart, paper number 10 and paper number 23. And here's my picture. It's a close-up of Paige in the pool, and there's lots of blue in it. And so I knew that I wanted to make my sunbursts yellow and bright to contrast the blue in the pool, and I didn't want it to take up the entire page, so I cut them small. There's also a 12 by 12 of this cut file, but I used the 8.5 by 11. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue in the middle, and you can kind of see how I off-centered them there and made them a little crooked so you can see a little bit of each one. And I'm trying to figure out, do I want to do the sunburst vertical or horizontal? You know, how do I want this design to go? So in the meantime, I knew that I wanted to stitch, and so I did this off camera. I just used some yellow thread, and I went from the center of the sunburst down each strip of or each sunburst, each ray, and this is going to allow everything to be stuck together really well. And this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to fold up the edges of the papers, and so this is going to be a very dimensional 3D type layout. It's really going to pop off the page, and it looks really cool once I get going. I think I really love how it turns out, and you can just feel it and see it just kind of coming at you, since it's really dimensional. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and prep my picture. I'm going to add a little bit of tissue paper behind it, and then I'm going to get going on my background. This is just smooth white cardstock, and I've got all kinds of things out on my desk because I have not cleaned it in a long time. And so I've got some Vicki Boutin acrylic paint, some cheapy Walmart craft acrylic paint that I'm just going to kind of mix together and smudge down with a palette knife. I've been in a palette knife smudging mood lately, especially with acrylic paint because it's so thick. And then I decided I knew I wanted to add some more liquid type things, and so I better add some gesso, which I didn't do first, but that's okay because it kind of lightened up the blue. I didn't want a lot of blue on the background. Well, I did, but I didn't want so much that it was going to compete with the blue in the picture. And so I'm going to add several different things here. These are some shimmers that I always keep out on my desk. I've got Jenny B Blue and Snow Way Man, and I'm just going to start to add it all together and kind of create layers of color. Spray some water, let it drip, let it run, because this is going to show through the sunburst. So this is going to kind of act as the sky, a very messy, abstract interpretation of a sky peeking through the sun. So it's dry. I love how that looks. It looks very textury, and there goes that word again. That's not a real word. Textury. And I love the different shades of blue. So that's kind of the look I was going for. But I needed a little bit more, so I'm just going to start directly spraying some of the shimmers onto the more of the left side of this design here, and then add a little bit of splattering, and just kind of let it dry. I'm going to add in a little bit more of the cheapy craft paint mixed with the Vicki Boutin color. It's a little bit darker, and I'm just going to add some water to it and splatter that around. I think I need to refreshen. Yeah, is that even a word? I don't even know. My water, it looks kind of dingy there. I should probably get some new water, but you know what? Ain't nobody got time for that. I'm in the mood to scrap, and I'm going to use what I have. So yeah, here we go. And as usual, it takes me forever to get my background just like I want it. And it's just a bunch of blue, but I'm so picky. I don't know why I am, but I just am. So finally got it how I want it, and I love how it represents sky, like I said earlier, but it also represents the water, and I want it to echo the water in the picture without being too much blue. So I'm going to add a little strip of glue behind each of the sunburst rays and get that down. And it is attached. I'm going to go back through and make sure the rays are sort of bent up. And look at all that texture. I love that. And I love the different colors of yellow. It already looks so bright and sunny, and love it. So now I'm going to start to think about embellishing. I'm going to use a little bit of this. I'm sure you know what this is. If you've gotten the mini thickers, which are the white and navy blue, the really small foam thickers from the Pick Me Up collection, this is the inside packaging from those thickers, and it makes an excellent layer. It makes, I've seen people use it a lot on their layouts in different ways. I'm going to use just a little bit of it as a layer. I'm also going to use this piece here as a layer, and that is from the Pick Me Up specialty vellum paper, and I just want that touch of soft pink over on the right. This paper is from Pick Me Up. It's paper number 23, and I finally have a use for these. What kind of birds are these? I should know. I live in Florida. Cranes of some sort, I think. I fussy cut a couple of them out, and I'm going to use those as embellishments. They match for one thing, and you know, it's an outdoor summery pool type layout, and so I felt like these were summertime beachy type birds, and so there you go. That's my reasoning behind that. I'm going to use the Pick Me Up chipboard piece here in the middle of the sun, and it's just a colorful little circle, but I'm going to only let the pink and the yellow show through, and I felt like I needed something there in the middle as the center of the sun. And I'm also going to use some of the ephemera as well as a little bit more of the chipboard from Pick Me Up. I added that little pink flower die cut over on the right. There's going to be a lot of pink embellishments going on here. I also used some stickers from the sticker sheet from Pick Me Up that I've neglected to use just because I haven't found the right layout for them. And so I felt like since it was a pop of that reddish orange color in the packaging that I layered in behind the picture, I wanted a couple more pops of that orange color. And so I'm going to use that little chipboard piece and then that sticker on the upper right. And then I'm going to cut out a circle from paper number 15 from Pick Me Up and put that in the center of that chipboard circle. And add a little bit of white gesso just to lighten it up because it's a really bold mustard yellow, and the gesso just kind of lightens it up a little bit so it's not so overpowering. I'm just going to start to glue things down. So yeah, I am going to create that little cluster over to the bottom left with another bird, and I have the bird facing in so it looks like the bird is looking across the layout at the picture. And of course thread, yes, you know me, I can't make a layout without some kind of thread on there, right? And so this is a light blue color that's going to pull the blue color from the background. I'm going to add that to the bottom left and the upper right, and then very carefully start to glue things down. This was kind of tricky to glue down because of the edges of the sun rays. And so I did have to add a little bit of adhesive foam in a couple places just to even it out and make sure it was stuck down. Because basically the photo is sitting on top of the edges and on the side of that chipboard circle. So I needed to make sure that it was even. And I'm going to do the same thing over here on the left on the cluster. I'm going to add actually I wound up adding 2 pieces of adhesive foam behind that crane because the dimension on the sun rays was so high, and I didn't want to crush those or press them down or crush the bird. I needed the bird to, you know, I didn't want to have his neck all the way down to the background and then his legs sticking straight up because of the sun rays. So I had to make sure he was even. So I decided I needed something underneath the picture. So I'm going to kind of combine some pink and orangey colored thread to get that orangey pink color that I've got going on in a couple of the embellishments and get that attached. And then I decided to go small with my title. I really wanted to use this. I saw this right away when I pulled out the specialty vellum, and it's yellow and it says sunshine on my mind. And then I thought it would be really cool to make it look like one of the rays. So I pulled out one of the papers that I cut the rays from and traced it, and then I'm going to trim up the edges, and so it's going to fit perfectly on this sun ray right here. And so that's going to be my title, and I really like how that turned out. I think it was meant to be. And so my title's not going to be very big. It's just going to kind of blend into one of the sun rays. And, you know, it's perfect because this is all about sunny summertime. So I thought it was perfect. More splatters of the shimmers. And then, oh, more thread. Yeah, I decided to do the mix and match again with the pink and the orange up at the top to kind of match what I did at the bottom there. And it just adds pop of color, it adds some texture, just kind of adds to the whole messy factor. And then I thought I would go back to the paper with the cranes from Pick Me Up and cut out some of these little flowers in pink and yellow and just use those as more embellishments with those, you know, just little pops of color. So I've got lots of yellow, lots of pink, lots of blue, and then little pops of that reddish orange color. I've been looking at this bird paper for forever, and yeah, it just finally worked out. Sometimes, you know, you can hold on to things for months and months and months and never use it, and then all of a sudden the right layout comes along and it's the perfect paper for it. And so that's why I never throw anything away, because in my mind I know someday I will find the perfect layout for it. And I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've done that too. Yeah. Scrappy hoarder problems. I'm not ashamed. I'm a scrappy hoarder and I'm okay with it. I'm gonna get all those little flowers glued down. Very, very carefully. And then guess what I'm gonna do next? I bet you didn't know that I was gonna add Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine. Yes, you did, because I always do. And yeah. And then I wanted to add more stickers. And so this is from the Pick Me Up sticker sheet. Definitely Sunshine on My Mind. And then I'm going to add a couple of chipboard. Nope, those aren't chipboard. Those are just regular stickers. Hearts. Because I still managed to have little tiny hearts that matched everything that I was doing here. And so I'm going to add in those in a couple of different spots. And then this little sticker that says Blue Skies. Again, this just kind of came together very quickly for me anyway, because everything just sort of matched. Everything that I wanted to use was there and it matched, and it just, I had the right spot for it. I didn't have to do a lot of hem-hawing around, and, you know, sometimes I'll take one embellishment and try it 14 different times in the same spot and still not use it. But this one was different. Like every time I went to put something down, I liked it where it was. And that's very rare. So I decided to jazz up the edges a little bit, and so I just kind of crookedly, is that a word? Cut two sides, the top and the left side of the layout, and then I'm going to back it with Pick Me Up paper number 19, because it's got all the colors, most of the colors that I use, and I just feel like it adds a little something to the edge and adds a little bit of color, because that's just been my thing lately. And then I busted my tape gun. The tape broke, so I needed to add some glue. And I am going to wind up stitching with some pink thread around the edges of that. I'll do that off camera, but you'll be able to see that later, hopefully. I'm going to add, yeah, I thought about adding a little cluster, but then I decided, no, that's plenty. I have enough. So I'm just going to add the journaling, one little line down at the bottom about how much we love pool time in the summer, because we definitely do. And I believe that's going to wrap it up. I do add the date, and like I said, I added stitching around the edges with some pink thread, but that's the final layout. I love how this turned out. I love how those sunbursts turned out. I love when I have an idea in my mind and it actually turns out better than I thought, because sometimes it turns out worse, and this was a case of turned out better, and it just all came together. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun to make. one of my new favorite pages, I think. So let me know if you have any questions about any of the cup file or the collections or anything at all, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.